Welcome back to In the Know. We are talking about fitness misconceptions, and our guest expert today is Igor Klebanov. The dreaded misconception with the midsection. Is there just one misconception with the midsection? Because everywhere we look, it's how to get a flat tummy, how to get a lean tummy, abs in 7 days.
You bet.
Six-pack, washboard stomach.
Yep.
Do any of them work?
There are so many misconceptions. Some of them legitimately work. Can you strengthen your abs doing crunches? Absolutely. Will it get you a six-pack? Not really. You can have the strongest set of abdominals in the world, and some people do. And if there's a layer of fat covering them, you'll never be able to see them. Okay. Case in point, think about the guys who lift weights in the Olympics. The guys who are lifting a good 500 pounds over their heads. They're heavyweights. Can you see their abs? No. And yet, do you think they have strong abs just to be able to lift 500 pounds over their heads? You bet. So again, it's not strength so much that matters. It's not endurance so much that matters. It's simply your level of body fat. Okay. You can actually get a washboard six-pack abs without doing a single crunch ever in your life. Uh-oh, now you're talking. Okay. Now we're talking. Again, really just body fat percentage. The quickest way to get six-pack abs, just get your body fat percentage down. Forget crunches. Controversially enough, you can actually get a six-pack quicker doing squats or cardio than you can by doing crunches. Crunches don't burn too many calories. Squats, cardio, that stuff burns a ton of calories and does it very quickly. Unfortunately, for both men and women, the first place you put on fat is the last place you take it off. Okay. So for women, if the ladies put on fat first in the buns and thighs, it's going to be the last place to come off. That's before menopause. After menopause, it tends to go upwards a little bit, so in the belly they start to store it.
Okay. For men, I'm going to hold that thought for 1 second. We're going to talk about that, but we've got a call. We've got Jordan on the line from Thornhill. Hi, Jordan.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Do you have a question for Igor?
I do, and I think you partially answered my question because it makes a lot of sense what you're saying about spot reduction. Yep. And however, I do store the majority of my fat around the belly area. And even though I'm working out, I'm doing cardio, I'm doing squats, it's always the last to come off when I lose fat. So what do you suggest I can do about that? Okay, that's an excellent question. Something interesting that I'll talk about later on in the show is that different areas of body fat deposition are indicative of your hormonal status. So people who specifically store fat in certain areas correlate to different hormones. Belly fat is correlated specifically to cortisol, which, as a lot of people have heard, specifically through infomercials, is a stress hormone. If you're able to decrease your stress, you'll be able to preferentially recruit the fat from the belly. So it's as simple as that. Or you can actually eat specific nutrients that help you deal with the stress. Specifically things like blueberries, red bell peppers, things like that really help speed up the metabolism and specifically target the fat in the belly. Now, don't think that it's going to exclusively come off from the belly, but it's going to preferentially come off from the belly. Everything else will come off as well, provided that everything else is in place. Those 4 habits I talked about earlier, eating 5 times per day, protein, veggies, and 0-calorie drinks. If you add those red bell peppers to it, as well as blueberries, it'll really help to target that belly fat. So hopefully that answers your question.
Good question, Jordan. So red bell peppers, blueberries. So really, we're talking about it starts with diet.
It starts with diet. In my mind, when it comes to fat loss, as well as muscle gain, diet is about 80 to 90% of the picture. Okay. Exercise is the other 10, 20%. Okay. And here's why. You cannot out-exercise a bad diet. Let's put some numbers to this. You did a nice workout, very hard, and it cost you maybe 500 calories, okay? You feel great about yourself, you deserve a reward, so you go to a McDonald's, you have a nice burger, fries, and a small Coke. All that combines to put 1,100 calories right back in your body. So again, you can't out-exercise a bad diet, so you absolutely have to have your diet taken care of first before exercise will work. Exercise is sort of icing on the cake. It is essential because it maintains your muscle mass, but it won't be as effective as doing diet. So that's very, very important.
Okay, so when Jordan was mentioning that he carries his body fat in his abdominal area, people do carry fat in all different parts of their body. Yep. But you can't target that you're going to lose specific fat. Is that right?
Now, you cannot exclusively lose fat from a specific area, but you can preferentially lose fat from that area.
How do you do that?
So you do that by specifically picking which dietary strategy you choose. You remember those 4 habits I talked about earlier? Well, I've noticed that each one correlates to a different area of body fat. So for example, if I told a person, in fact, I told this to a client of mine a little bit earlier, I told her, don't change your diet at all. The only thing I want you to change is go from eating 3 times per day to eating 5 times per day. Now, I haven't told her to eat veggies, I haven't told her to eat protein, I haven't told her to not drink anything with calories. This is the only thing I've told her, just eat 5 times per day. Even if it's junk, just do it 5 times per day. Here, interesting thing, she says, oh, I've been terrible. She comes back to me, we measure her body fat. Body fat everywhere is decreased, but specifically below the shoulder blade, on her back. So that one correlates specifically to the back muscle, not the muscle, sorry, the back area. And different strategies correlate to different areas. Veggies correlate to the love handle area. Protein correlates specifically to triceps and love handles together. 0-calorie drinks correlates to the chest area for men. Here's an interesting tip. If a man has a higher body fat measurement on the chest and on the triceps, it could mean that he is actually aromatizing his testosterone. What that means is that he's converting testosterone to estrogen. So he's starting to store fat in typically female areas, like the chest. So again, different dietary strategies will have different effects on different areas, but overall you want to do them all together.
Okay, so you were briefly talking at the start of this segment about the midsection.
Right.
And so you talked to Jordan about red peppers and blueberries. Anything else we can do to combat our midsection?
For sure. Anything that helps you reduce your stress will combat that midsection area. There's also one specific exercise strategy that can help with that, and this may not work for a lot of people, but for some people it will. Here's what you do. Do crunches. As much as they're not necessarily the best thing, but do crunches, about just one set of maybe 20, 25, 30 repetitions, then hop on the treadmill. Why is stubborn fat stubborn? Because there isn't as much blood flow going there, so you can't really mobilize that fat. You can't get nutrients to that area to clear it away. Now, doing crunches specifically rushes blood to that area, so now it's concentrated, and by doing cardio immediately afterwards, I'm not talking in 5 minutes, like immediately afterwards, it's going to speed up the metabolism, speed up specifically the clearing away of fat from that area. That's one very easy, very simple, not necessarily easy thing to do with exercise. So that's how you can specifically target fat in different areas. This is from the belly. If somebody wants to target their buns and thighs, they would do something with their leg muscles to rush blood down there.
Right.
So that's something else you can do.
Excellent. Good tips. Thanks, Igor. Don't go anywhere. More in the know when we come back. Welcome back to In the Know. It's been a very informative hour. We've talked about the midsection, dieting or not dieting, throwing away the scale,
stretching.
Stretching, the body fat pincher, as I call it. And
it's descriptive.
Yeah, and so we're closing the show off shortly with exercises that we can all do.
Yep.
And why are we doing these exercises?
Well, sometimes I have a lot of clients who travel a lot. Now hotels are getting better and better, but still you won't find a gym, a high quality gym everywhere. You have to know what you can do without much equipment or without any equipment. Or some people are just very self-conscious. They don't want to go to the gym where everybody looks like they know what they're doing, and you necessarily don't. So there are very simple things you can do at home that can give you a workout that's almost as effective as if you were to go to the gym. Okay. You can usually cover the entire body in 4 exercises. These are the ones I'm about to tell you aren't anything magical about them. You can replace them with other exercises that work the same muscles. But here's my choice of 4. Okay. The first exercise would be squats. Squats work almost your entire lower body, and I do have a picture of this. Squats will work your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your glutes. That's the front of your thigh, your back of the thigh, the butt muscles. If you're holding onto something, they're going to work your grip, your abdominals, and your lower back muscles. Fantastic exercise. And so looking at the picture, sorry to cut you off, Igor, so that's a pretty low squat. Is that how low we have to get with our butt? Actually, we want to go even lower. Wow. Okay. Now, we hear a lot of times, don't squat below parallel. Do squat below parallel. The reason that you don't want to squat, you don't want to squat insufficiently is because if you don't, you develop a muscle imbalance surrounding the knee. Okay. Because it's the hamstring that's responsible for pulling you out from the bottom to about 90 degrees, and primarily the quadricep, the front of the thigh, responsible for pulling you from 90 degrees all the way up. Right. What if we were doing squats only from parallel up?
You're only working the front.
Primarily working the front without working the back as much as you should be. What happens when you work the front without working the back with the same volume? Well, the muscles on the front of the thigh tighten, they pull on the knee harder than the back muscles can counteract them, and you can get knee problems as well as hip problems, ankle problems, things like that. You want to squat deep for that reason. When shouldn't you squat deep? If you already have pre-existing knee problems and going deep causes problems for you, then you don't go deep. For healthy knees, which is the majority of knees out there, go deep, and or else your knees will not be healthy long term.
Okay, before you get to exercise number 2, we've got Cliff on the line from Markham. Hi, Cliff.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great.
Do you have a question? Do you have a question for Igor?
I do. I am looking to invest some money on a home gym system. A lot of different products out there. What's sort of the best bang for my buck? What should I be looking at?
That's a great question. Cliff, the first thing I always recommend to my clients who I train at home, get dumbbells. There are many shiny, gimmicky pieces of equipment out there. I like old school dumbbells for 3 reasons. One is they're the most versatile piece of equipment in the world. With a set of dumbbells, you can do several thousand different exercises. With a treadmill elliptical, you can do 1. 2, they are durable. A set of dumbbells will last you 40, 50, 60 years. You don't have to replace it, you don't need a warranty. And 3, they're cheap. You can buy it at a garage sale for a good 100-pound set or even a 300-pound set. You can buy that for under $200. And again, it's going to last you many, many years over. How much does a gym membership cost for a year, let's say? I don't know, $600, $800? A piece of like a dumbbell is going to last you 60 years or something like that. And the price is 1/3 of a year. Very good investment in my mind.
All right, good advice. And you're right, there is so many gimmicks out there, whether it's, an ab cruncher or a roller or quick fixes.
Quick fixes. Not necessarily quick fixes, but it's things they call, no offense, shiny junk.
Right.
Because it's expensive, but yet you can only do a limited number of exercises on it. 1, 2, 3 exercises, and that's it. How many exercises can you do with dumbbells?
Right.
Literally thousands, right?
Okay, so we talked about exercise number 1 that you can do, which
squats.
is the squats. Exercise number 2.
Exercise number 2 is a push-up.
Okay.
Push-ups work the muscles of the chest, the front of the shoulder, and the back of the arm, an entire half of the entire upper body. What if you can't do push-ups on the other hand?
And we've got a picture of a push-up. There it is.
We have a picture of a push-up. If you can't do a push-up, there are always ways to modify a push-up to make it either easier or more difficult. You can do knee push-ups, which is push-ups on your knees, which I also have a picture of. They work the same muscles, but are much easier. If you can do knee push-ups or you can do regular push-ups and that's too easy for you, on the other side of the spectrum, you can actually do decline push-ups, which is my next picture, which is feet elevated and the hands are on the ground, and you can be doing push-ups that way.
Okay, so there's one where,
And that's it. That's a decline push-up. They work exactly the same muscles, but by knowing exactly how to manipulate the body's leverages, you can make an exercise so easy that a senior can do it, or so difficult that a high-level athlete cannot do it.
Change the degree of difficulty.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's key. That's exercise number 2.
Exercise number 3.
Exercise number 3 is an overhead press. The overhead press, you just take a couple of soup cans, or like I told Cliff, invest in a couple of dumbbells and push them over your head, just like that. That works the muscles of the shoulders and the triceps. Funnily enough, it gets the heart pumping like crazy. So it's also a cardio workout. Exercise number 4 is a half Superman. This works the back muscles tremendously. And it's fantastic for posture. It strengthens the muscles that run along the spine. It strengthens the rotator cuff muscles, as we know, which is small muscles surrounding the shoulder. It strengthens the lower back muscles, and it strengthens the muscles on the side of your back. Very important muscles to look toned. Now, put all these exercises together, and you're able to have a pretty good workout.
So to recap, we've got the squats.
Yep.
We've got the Superman.
Yep.
We've got the legs elevated, push-ups.
The push-ups and variations of them.
Variations of the push-ups. Yep. And the last one?
Last one is the overhead press.
The overhead press, which
That's
you can do
right.
with a soup can or
dumbbells
or any sort of weight. Kids.
If you're strong.
Okay, and all 4 of these exercises, easy to do at home, traveling, at work even.
At work even. Just make sure nobody sees you. And if they do, they better join in.
Okay. For people who are at home, who are watching the show, thinking, you know what, I think I could benefit from some of Igor's training, how can they find you?
They can find me simply by visiting www.torontofitnessonline.com, or they can call me at 647-271-8672.
And do you do workshops? Do you do training sessions?
Oh, I do a lot of things. I do one-on-one personal training. 2, 3, and 4-on-1. I also offer a few services for the corporate world, workplace wellness programs, ergonomic assessments, on-site personal training, injury risk assessments. I'll also do workshops. I'm actually giving a free one on June 11th at the Toronto Raw Vegan Festival. And the website for that is just torontorawveganfestival.com.
Okay.
And I do public speaking on demand as people require. So there are a lot of services that I do offer.
Okay, so you're a personal trainer, so obviously you're going to recommend personal training.
Yes.
If people can't afford a personal trainer, because it can be costly for many people, what's I don't want to say easy, but what's a reasonable exercise routine that they can start getting themselves into to get themselves into shape this spring and summer?
Okay, difficult question because it really depends on the person and their individuality.
Okay.
One person might be 70 years old and have knee problems. One person might be 25 years old and have not a non-weight loss goal. They might be looking to get ready for soccer season or something like that. So you really have to figure out a person's goals. But some very, very general guidelines. Don't do anything that hurts. I mean, muscle pain is fine. Joint pain, not fine. Do a little bit more each time. So progression is key. Now there are a few different ways to progress. You can increase the number of repetitions, the number of sets, the amount of weight, decrease the rest, or create a more difficult exercise.
Right.
For example, go from a push-up to a decline push-up with the feet elevated. So these are keys. Specific routines that are generalized, it's tough to give because if I did give a routine, somebody is bound to get injured. So they have to assess it individually. But again, follow the principles. Generally speaking, you'll be fine. What I do recommend, not necessarily get me, but take a personal trainer for just one session. Have a professional figure out what your body, how your body responds to different exercises, what your particular imbalances are, and then have them send you on your way to safely. Do whatever you need to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, do you recommend for people who do a lot of cardio, for example, or a lot of weight training, should they balance their workouts with something else like walking or yoga or Pilates or something else?
There are 3 primary fitness qualities. One is strength, one is endurance, and the other is flexibility. You should have all 3 in a perfect balance. What exactly is perfect? That's up for debate. Somebody who is in martial arts or gymnastics is going to need a lot more flexibility and endurance than they will strength. Somebody who's a weightlifter will need a lot more strength than they will need endurance. So again, make sure you're working on all 3, but the balance really depends on the person.
Excellent. You've been a wonderful guest. Thanks so much,
Fantastic.
Igor. Great
Thank
to
you,
have
Julia.
you here. Thanks for watching In the Know. We'll see you next time.